Thank you very much for your kind introduction. My name is Yamaguchi of the Sustainergy. Our business operations are in the prefectures like Iwate, Kagoshima, and Kanagawa. And that started from the initiatives and set up the energy company. So rather than a big power generation company, but is the smaller one and the self-produced, self-consumed company. So that this business is a lot of based on the perspective of the consumers and the users, and based in the local community. The recent example is at the right-hand side in this slide, Bioenergy. That is the Shiwa city in the Iwate prefecture and the Kesenuma city. That is a gasification plant that my previous presenter said, but it is using the wood chip and generate the power. A relationship with the academia. The one example is that the Chiba prefecture, so that this project is capturing the natural energy and energy consumption, so that this is a joint project with the Chiba Business College, so that we are hoping that this project would turn to be the first business based in the local community. So this is the Shiwa wood biomass business, and they opened the city halls and commercial facilities and hotels, and the residents are in the process of the building that requires the hot water and the floor heaters and panel heaters. Those are the heating facilities. And in the city halls, gyms and hotel lobbies, they need the cooling systems, and they are all equipped and supplied. And this is the underground pipes, so that the hot water is running in this pipes. And for the city halls and the hotels, that cool water is running inside the pipes and to cool the facilities. So that in this city, is surrounded by the mountains and wood, and also that they are facing the challenge or the dying of the pine trees, and there is no way to use the dying pine trees, so that they are chopped and to make it the chips. So that this initiative is driven by the city, so that they produce wooden chips, and that is the fuels, so that we are purchasing those materials. Also, that citizens themselves are the change managers, change agents, and it costs a lot to transport this wooden dead pine trees, so that a lot of the logs are just laying on the ground, but they devised the cheap way of transportation, so that these volunteers of the local community use their own trucks and to transport these woods, and we just pay the three bottles of Japanese wines to commend the hard work. Here, this is a very big facilities in Japan, but I think that in Denmark, the smaller or compact the house heating systems available. And here, domestic produced wooden chip boiler. We learned a lot from the European examples, but it is working. And also that we relied upon the time lived technologies that we accumulated and we developed. I think that some of the processes are manual in Japan, but maybe they're automated in Europe. And here, during the winter that we have to supply a lot of the hot waters, but we use this facility during that idle time to reduce the idle time, so that we use the facility running the cold water to produce that cooling, and that's how we make money. And so the hot waters is a green part, so that throughout the year the demand is there. And big thick blue is a cooling, then the orange is a heating. Why the local heat supply is necessary, and it is not that low grade energy, but if we connect the local communities through the pipes, then we could use the low grade energies, and also that waste incinerators, cogenerations, and waste heat could be also used, so that the geothermal power supply is the recycled energies and recycled energy, so that is the heat version of the transmission of the power. And if you ask me about the initiatives by the college, there are a lot of the examples in the foreign countries, like the British Columbia in Canada, Stanford, Duke universities in the U.S. And Stanford, they introduced the Denmark systems, so that they use the steams and the convert it into the hot water to supply the hot water in the buildings, and also in order to reduce costs, they have the technology to produce both hot and the cold waters. The college have different independent buildings, so that this concept is suitable for the colleges, because it is a small community. And there are several challenges when we introduce this system into the local community. We need to reduce the cost of the piping. You can see the right-hand side, left-hand side is Japan, then right-hand side bar is the Europe and US, so that cost of piping is 3 times higher in Japan. Also that the civil engineering work is also very expensive in Japan. Another challenge or issue here is that how to change the existing piping system. So that you can get the heat from the local community piping, and we have to distribute it into each rooms. And if the building or the resident house has the piping on each room, that's good. But in here, the system is to most of the cases, the Japanese house have the independent air conditioners on each room, so there is no piping system inside house. And so there is no inside piping system, then they have to build a new scratch. But if you introduce the floor heating, then that is very comfortable in. So this is the example in the certain local community, like the city halls, elementary schools, nursery schools, and assisted living and elderly for the elderly people. And hot water system is in high demand, but if this building is equipped with the floor heatings or the heating pipings available, then it is hard to introduce the local community heat supply system. If that heat pump system is there, our new technology plays an important role. We call it heat pumps. Using the electricity, raise the temperature and waste the heat. But some of the heat generation is supplemented by the solar power, so that half of the electricity heat pump system will be replaced by the local community heat supply system. If college introduced the system, there is a limitation of the hardware to complete the system. Therefore, the college should devise how to use this system, so that the key is how to use the system, like how to reduce the load. I think that you are the academia and you are the center of the intelligence, therefore that you are the smart guys to come up with smart solutions to reduce cost and improve energy efficiency. So that we are trying to implement this system, but we are open to the best practice and center of excellence. We rely on the following countries. With that, I would like to conclude my presentation.